Well, as you probably heard, this is not looking good for this Yukon. And here's a picture of some of the carnage. When I get the engine out, we'll have a better look at the carnage. Anyway, I don't want to run it very much. It's liable to seize up at any time. So now you know why I have ordered another engine. My engine is here, and it's warm outside right now. I didn't look and see, but it'll probably hit 103 easy. Lots of humidity today, but that doesn't matter. Here's the engine. I did not film it coming in, or record it coming in. I wanted to, and I forgot. I got involved in the whole atmosphere of it coming in and placing it, and a couple other people around, so yeah. This engine was banded to the pallet. They tied it down using each exhaust manifold. And it did come with a lot of, well, extra parts, so to speak, like the coils and all. Got the water pump. Didn't get the injectors. I wish I'd gotten the injectors. If they hadn't pulled them off, it wouldn't have got water down in it. But I'm checking a piece here I thought was broken earlier, but it was not. So anyway, it looks like it's going to be okay. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few things off of this and start stripping it down. Take the intake off. I'm going to take the coils off. Hey, have you been watching my rat chewing stuff? Now I got to get the truck up here, the Yukon up here, pull that one out, get this one. I'm going to do some rebuilding stuff on this. I haven't decided just exactly what I want to do yet. If you got any suggestions, leave a comment. Pulled the intake manifold off so we could get to this plate here and get it off. We got an engine stand coming from Amazon. There's the lifting plate we put on, and there's the stand we got. The stand was very inexpensive, and we got to the point where we were able now to pull the heads off and take a look inside the engine and see what kind of damage we were actually had. Starting to amass a few parts. As you can see, there's the intake, and there's the heads coming off. You can see the water damage on them. Obviously, one head is better than the other. This one here, still some damage, but not as bad as the other one. This is the worst side of the block. The other side looked much better than this, but you can see where the water had got into this piston here from it being exposed to the elements. Finally got a chance to look at the oil pan, and it came out pretty good. I was concerned because it was sitting on a tire on the pallet, and we really couldn't see very much of it. But it looked pretty good, and we decided to take it off and see what was underneath. I was helping take the windy tray off. It's coming out so far. It was looking like I could do a partial refresh on it with just maybe rod bearings and piston rings, valve seals, and the such. We'll go into, which I'll go into in a little bit later. But as you can see, the bottom end here is looking pretty nice, considering I guess this engine been sitting outside for a while and in the elements, but like I said, had they not pulled the fuel injectors, it probably would have been better. I was trying to get a picture of the cam lobe here and see what kind of wear it had on it, and I wasn't able to quite get to it, but from what I was able to determine later, it was looking pretty good as well. We use Plastigauge to check the bearing clearances. I used number 1 piston and number 8 piston, one closest to the oil and one furthest away. And later on, you'll see the bearings when I take them off. It was a little confusing on whether these bearings were oversized or were they standard. And the clearance and stuff is looking good, so I just had to figure out what's standard or oversized bearings I had. I'm not sure, but you'll see later on what I had. The pistons were not marked, and so we decided to put our own numbers on them with a small little engraving tool. We took a piston out to take a look at it, and it was pretty ugly. And one of the bearings, it had a part number on it that I just could not track down, even though it was GM. As you can see, the bearings are quite confusing, the markings on them, but I was finally able to determine that they were standard, which made me feel a whole lot better. Hey, good morning. Another day. This is a continuation of the 2000 Yukon LM7 5.3 engine. I have a head here, and I've used every drill bit stud extractor I can find. In fact, I broke one off in there, and now I'm going to have to take a welder to it and try and get that out. That's not what this video is about. This video is about putting rings on the pistons. I got standard rings with a Molly top ring, and I've noticed some YouTube videos of people are having trouble with their cap here and getting the bolts out of the rod cap. And I just take a punch and a hammer, and I just tap it down, or one quick whack, and they fall right out. And another quick whack for the other side. Let's see what we got here. Okay, and there's your little sleeve. Excuse me, I'm going back with ARP bolts instead of these factory bolts. And the ARP does not have the sleeve like this, but it does have a little ridge at the top. So I tested an ARP in this wiggle room, and they both wiggle on the cap. So anyway, that's how I do it, and I'm going to go ahead and I did not show me putting rings on the pistons or the groove tool that I use to clean the grooves in the pistons, but I did use a broken ring on some of them to clean the grooves, and it works pretty well. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there that show you how to put rings on the pistons, and I recommend Uncle Tony's Garage if you are unsure of which one to watch. I used the top ring to check all the pistons for the gap of the rings in case I needed to file the rings down. And every cylinder came out 020, so I have plenty of gap for expansion on these pistons, and I believe they're good to go once I get the rings on them. I've got to get this head, this bolt out here, snapped off piece of easy out inside. Got it drilled out a little bit. I'm going to see if my welder will get this out. I'm trying to build up what's left of the stud in the exhaust manifold enough to where I can attach a nut so I can put a wrench on it and twist the rest of the stud out. The stud also has a broken piece of easy out on it because I tried drilling this out first. I have 3 of these to do, and this is my first attempt on one of them. There you go. Okay. Well, the first attempt failed, so I'm going to give it another try here and see if I can get a better weld on it. Maybe this one will work.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it looks like my nut's coming off.
It's coming off again.
So I'm going to try this again and see if I can get it. I don't know, is this the third time? Or is this the second time continuing? I've got a nub built up enough where I get a pair of vice grips on it, so I decided to go with just the vice grips and the nub and forgo the washer and the nut. I just wasn't having much luck welding the nut and the washer together. Oh, come on, don't break.
Oh, you. Yeah, well.
Okay, this really is the third attempt, I believe. I decided to forego the washer and the nut entirely and just try and build the nub up enough to where I could maybe get it out with just the vice grips alone. I believe just leaving the washer and the nut off is the way to go, and just build the nub up enough to where you can get hold of it with the vice grips, because it sure does seem to be working fine now. Wahoo! That deserves a high five right there. I'm attempting to do the same thing on this other head. This is the second head, and I believe this is the last set. I said I had three, but one of them I was actually able to get out with a pair of vice grips. They've not broken off deep inside. I ended up fighting this one quite a bit. I don't know why until I figured it out. I wasn't getting good contact with the solder. I don't like it. Tiny drill bit to drill a pilot hole into the stud that was still showing in this, so I could get a better weld contact to the metal. I believe the metal was just not accepting the weld because it's kind of corroded or something coating on it. I don't know what, but the drill bit seems to have made a big world of difference on this. After another unsuccessful attempt, I was able to add to the weld that I had started and build it up better. I was making a mess out of the weld. I was getting tired, having trouble seeing. Anyway, the hood was giving me trouble as well, and I can find all kinds of excuses, but I finally got a bite on it with a pair of pliers here and was making a little headway. Gotta dig out every tool in the tool bag to get it done. That's what you gotta do. It's probably still hot. Okay, people, there's number 2. You can see how my weld had fallen over on the tip that I was trying to build up because I did not give it enough time to set up enough before I hit it again. But actually it stayed, so first time I've ever done this, and probably do better the next time if there is a next time. Hoping that there isn't. I'm not really good with my welder, but obviously got this out and the other one. So it wasn't all that bad, and it sure beat a lot of drilling. Much quicker, it works much faster. The secret is to get the top of that bolt head cleaned. I used a drill, and I drilled a little bit into it so I'd have a good foundation for attaching the arc, the little weld. This is an ongoing video of how I rebuilt the engine for the Yukon that is the subject of this video. Consider subscribing if you like anything about this video, and thank you. Bye for now.